One. Hello, everybody in our beautiful group now. And here we are again for another Facebook Live broadcast in connection with you, the members of now, almost 900 of you, which is just wonderful. And today we have Mel with us. Always little wave. Hello. And Mel is one of those ladies who just makes you feel, not that everybody doesn't make you feel wonderful, but because I've been to Mel's events a few times, and I've got to know Mel quite well, I think, and she is one of those really beautiful, genuine ladies. And these broadcasts are about you, the members of Now, getting to know you, getting to know each other, and really sort of getting into the core of who we are. So I think that's a really good segue into who Mel is. And Mel, what do you do?
Thank you, Lindsay, for a lovely introduction. Coming from one of the warmest ladies I know, that's for sure.
Thank you.
So I basically teach Tantra these days. I come from a background of teaching leadership and communication skills, team building, relationship skills. And I did that for large businesses and governments for quite a long time. And my journey of personal development took me into, I guess, spirituality, if you want to call it that. Spirituality for me is about believing that we belong to something greater than ourselves, that the planet that we live in is like a living organism, and we're part of that living organism, and we're all interconnected. So that's what spirituality means for me. And in my journey in personal development, the more and more that I researched and started to practice all the practices, which are wonderful, positivity, affirmations, and changing your behavior so that you're being much more open-minded, much more connected. All these wonderful teachings, especially people like Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which most people know. So that took me into really sort of understanding that there's more to us. I always had a big hunger about why and how we function as human beings and our purpose here. And I guess spirituality is about the exploration of why are we here? What is all this about? And basically my journey took me into that. And I explored many things like Lindsay. I've done Reiki, which is a beautiful practice. I've done channeling. I have done shamanic stuff. I was a Buddhist for quite a while before I moved into Tantra. But my journey in all of this took me to Tantra. And I know that most people say, what is Tantra? And is it that thing that's splendid and it's some kind of erotic, crazy sex thing, or some, playful thing on sexuality, or people pretending to be gods and goddesses? Well, that's very sad that it's described like that, because it has so much more to offer people. But what it really did for me was that it introduced the concept that we are actually energetic beings. I already knew that. My background is in science, so I knew from science, from biological science, that we are pure energy in every possible way. Our whole body functions of energy transforming. So I knew that, and like yourself, Lindsay, I already had the perception of energy around me, that I could feel and see things that other people didn't. So when I came to Tantra, what was very different about Tantra was that here was a science, a metaphysical science, to how the whole universe works from the perspective of energy. And it was created 5,000 years ago. So I now teach people Tantra to use in modern day times to benefit themselves, to improve themselves, and to find peace and harmony from the inside outwards.
Absolutely brilliant. Yes, you're right. Whenever the word Tantra Yoga comes up, then we do straight away, we go and think of Sting. Which, I wouldn't mind doing Tantra with Sting, but that's by the by. I'm sure there's lots of us who want to. But as you see, Tantra is so much different. Yes, I've been to your events. I've been there, I've felt the energy, and oh, wow, that's a powerful energy. So if I wanted to do Tantra today myself, because, there are lots of different types of yoga and yours is Tantra. What could I do that would, I don't know, help me feel a bit uplifted using Tantra?
Well, first of all, so the reason that we call our organisation the Alchemy of Living is because I believe that the alchemy is the ability to transform. So to transform things from lower states to higher states. So if you like, it was old metal to gold, if you like, in the old days of alchemy. And in Tantra, what you're doing is learning to transmute and transform lower states of energy, so emotions and thoughts, states of mind, physicality, into higher levels of energy, higher frequencies of energy. So
Right.
that's what the whole of Tantra is the transformation of the lower energies to the higher energies to open and expand your consciousness, your mind, so that you can change your perspective. So, from a practical point of view, the very first thing that people can do in the learning of Tantra is to learn Tantra Hatha Yoga, and this is a stabilizer for anyone practicing Tantra. Why? Because we need to, in Tantra, we say purify. I guess a better modern day terminology would be to detoxify the body. So we have many energy layers. We have the physical body, we have a pranic body, which is like the blueprint of your physical body. And we also have the emotional body, or the astral body, as many people know it as. And we have the mental, emotional body, which is our thoughts and all the thoughts that run through. So with these five bodies, we have obviously also got negative thoughts, negative emotions, physical ailments, and these all come from fears and doubts, and they come from our conditioning and our experiences. And everyone's very different. Some people are more positive, some people are more prone to negativity. But we've all had trauma, we've all had stress. There's no way you live in modern day society today without experiencing stress of some kind or another. And, especially for ladies as well, it's been a very interesting time for the development of women growing in a man's world, but sometimes losing our femininity, from the masculinity. And that's been quite a stressful journey for a lot of women as well. Some more easy, some more difficult. So we carry all of these traumas and experiences and stresses in our energetic fields, emotionally, mentally, and they actually manifest in the physical field, in the physical body. So if you have an ailment, maybe you are suffering something at the heart and you are feeling betrayed at the level of the heart, you may find that you break out in a physical rash on your body because the skin is directly connected to the heart as an
Right.
organ. Yeah. So this is, you understand the connections within the body between all the different the mental, emotional, physical bodies. You can start to understand where there may be blockages in the body. And your body is made up of a lot of energetic channels and mama points, a bit like in Chinese medicine, you have the meridians and you have the acupuncture points. Well, in Hatha Yoga and Tantra Yoga, we work as well with the nadis, the energy channels. And so, like, if you have pipes that are not clean or that are very weak because they're not used, these pipes need to be energized. So these energy channels need to be energized and cleaned out of these negative traumas and emotions. So we use Hatha Yoga to do that. You have the physical body working in physical postures that work on healing the body physically, clearing out the lymphatic system, energizing the neurosystem, stimulating the blood system. And these are all very physical ways that the Hatha Yoga works when you form these different sacred geometrical shapes. But beyond other yoga, which is using that for their wellness of the being, obviously the cleansing of the physical body will give you a well-being of your mind naturally. It will bring you more into harmony and balance because you're creating a purification on the physical body. And you're
Yeah.
giving the mind something to distract itself with and not be very noisy whilst you do the various postures.
Right.
The difference between Hatha, the Tantra Yoga, is that when we hold these sacred geometrical shapes, we are also meditating and using the concentration of the mind on particular aspects of energy. So we're either focusing on pulling energy in from the universe or the ground beneath us to vitalize the body, or we're concentrating on particular energy centers known as chakras. So most people will have heard of the 7 chakras of the body, and these are the different energy centers. So when we focus on different energy centers, we also start to clear out negative emotions because we're working at these energetic frequencies that are working in the emotional fields and also with the thoughts of the mind as well. So
Right.
to enhance our emotional state, we cleanse and purify, detox our emotional states from lower energies to higher. And the same with our thoughts. We detox our thoughts from lower energies to higher energies. And we're
So
doing this.
carrying out that actually clears all the levels that we are created from. And I know that, Mel, you have now every morning a yoga practice. And I've sort of dipped and dived in there, but I have to say I have saved some of your videos to do at a time when I can do those, but they look fantastic. So if anybody wants to learn some more about yoga, whether it's Hatha Yoga, Tantra Yoga, whatever it is, Mel is there to answer your questions. And I know she'd love to answer the questions because I know Mel is way beyond passionate about this. Way beyond it. And going back to the postures and what we can do now. So if anybody is feeling apprehensive or worried about anything, they could literally, couldn't they, just stand where they are, be comfortable, be grounded on with their feet. Very quickly, what else could they do at that moment?
If you're wanting to just actually ground and stabilize yourself, and you've got 2 or 3 minutes, you can do a posture called Paschimottanasana, which is basically just sit with your legs stretched out in front of you, yeah, and you bend forward and you hold your toes or hold your ankles or your legs wherever you can reach as far forward as you can on the leg, and you just let your head lower to your knees, and you then concentrate on the area, ladies, the entrance of the vagina. You just imagine that you have a little disc about 10 centimeters in diameter at the entrance of your vagina, and you concentrate your attention there for as long as you can. It's all right if the mind wanders, bring it back, bring it back, and you just concentrate. This is called the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra. And the root chakra is about survival. So if you have any fears about survival and safety and security, this is the chakra, when properly energized, lifts you and makes you feel more positive, more strong in that field of survival.
Fabulous.
The other thing it does is it really helps to balance and enhance the mind, to stabilize the mind. So you're finding that you're feeling a bit panicky, a bit anxious. This is a really powerful posture to stabilize the mind.
And if anybody does go ahead and do that, be aware that, if you suffer from dizziness or anything in that connection, then don't go as far as Mel mentioned, maybe even just bending over a little bit. And when you come up really slowly, and then all will be well. Fantastic, Mel. Well, I'm going to go off and do that, that's for sure.
But then the other one that's nice and quick, just a more of a mental thing that you can do is try to become an observer of your thoughts.
So of your thoughts, right?
Yeah, try to be an observer. Try not to be attached to the outcomes of things. Try not to worry about the negative or trying to look forward to the positive. Try to just be an observer of your thoughts and of your thinking. It's a form of detachment without not having feelings, but just without being worried about what the outcome is going to be, what the future outcome is going to hold. Because the future changes every second, as we know. We can't predict it. So it's about being in the here and now. And if you can observe your thoughts and observe yourself and be detached from that, it's a very powerful way of moving forward. It's very liberating.
That's a great way, and being in control as well. So that's fantastic, Mel. I know you probably found that really hard to put all that into 10 minutes, but you did brilliantly. You really did. So I ask everybody a different question, and the question for yourself today was, if you could star in any TV show throughout history, what would it be and who would you be?
When you were saying you're going to ask me a question like this, I was like, oh no. I decided to pick Star Trek because as a child I absolutely adored Star Trek, and I adored it because I loved the idea that there was always hope, and no matter where we evolved as human beings, there was always hope to be the best that we are in the best way possible in our behaviors and our intentions and our way of being. And that anything is possible. When Star Trek first started, there weren't such things as mobile phones, so you've got your communicator and your whatever, the beam me up Scotty thing. We haven't quite managed to transport yet. We have that communication.
This is true. And who would you be?
And I have to say I'd be 7 of now.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Not just because she's a very sexy, powerful, strong woman. I forget that part of it.
A gorgeous shape.
Indeed, not just because of that, but because she was part of a system. She was integrated into a system to be conditioned into ways of being and thinking. And she broke out of that to become liberated and independent in her thinking. And one of the messages that I want to leave people with in this time that we're in at the moment is try to break away from your everyday thinking. Try to see the world in a very new and different way, not from your conditioning, not from your habits, not from your everyday ways of being. And try to think about, how do you really want to live life? What's really important to you? Because this shutdown and this lockdown is giving you time to do that, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your family, or whether it's for your business.
Absolutely, I love that one. And 7 of 9 went on, and she is or was in Lucifer, who is, Lucifer is just, anyway, on that note.
There's another thing then with that, if you want more orgasmic energy in your life, then you have to come and find out more about Tantra.
Absolutely, yes, so true. Well, we have really gone over our 15 minutes, and you know something? What's going to happen at the end of my 100 days? I'm not going to get this right, so whatever. So thank you so much, Mel. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me on board.
And we will meet up when times are right, and I will be on that course of yours, your 4-day course. That's going to be a moment and a half.
Well, I was going to say the other thing if I can very quickly mention, if you have the opportunity to touch, if you're there with your loved ones, if you're not locked down on your own, touch. Do as much touch as possible. It generates the heart and it opens the heart and it lifts your feelings and it lifts your spirits. And yes, I can't wait to see you on the Tantra massage course.
Yeah, I like that actually, touch. Even when you're just walking past each other in the kitchen of the house, just put a hand on the shoulder or just brush by. The energy mix.
Put your right hand over your heart, put your left hand over the top, and just hold and touch your heart, and just spend a few moments with your eyes closed, touching your heart.
Nice. Yeah. Lovely. Beautiful way. That's a beautiful way to end our broadcast here and now. So I will be back again tomorrow with another Now member. So it is au revoir from me and
au revoir from me. That sounded very little large.
Bye-bye.